Hi guys, welcome back. So this one we are going to talk about the reproductive system. So let's just get started. Share screen. Let's see, what's this one here? Right here, right? Share. All right, so I will see if I can move this one. It's easier to see. Easier to see. Will that still be there? I hope, huh? I hope it still be there. All right. Let me double check. Let me double check. Let me double check on this one. All right, so this is, let me double check very quickly. Start sharing, recording, or record. Okay, so this is the reproductive system. Uh, I'd like to lay the foundation about this reproductive system. So later when we talk about the sex gene, we know that how is this gene affects the phenotype. Because if we don't know the foundation about this system, you don't really have no idea that what kind of genetic effects could cause the phenotypic traits visible or be detectable in this system. So that's quite important to have an understanding about this system. So I think we probably will have three portions about this one here, and this is a part one. All right, so in this one, I would like to talk about the gonads. So this is the organ, uh, the the very important reproductive organ in our body. It is sex different, so it can include the male and the female. The function of this organ include two major functions. One is to produce gametes, sperms, and oocytes. The other one is to produce sex hormone. So we will look into that. Now, so gonads are the reproductive organs in male and female. Their function produce gametes, sperm, or oocytes, and sex hormone. Uh, the male gonads is testis. The female is the ovaries. The procedure, the process to produce sperm is called the spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis. The, the procedure, the process to produce oocytes is called oogenesis. So we will basically with this lecture, we will cover some basic anatomy, physiology, and the function of the production of the spermatogenesis and the oogenesis. So let's start by talking about the male. So this is the overview of the male reproductive system. The gonad is the testis. Each male has two testes, or these testes, it can also be called testicles. Each testicle located are inside of the scrotum, and the okay. Sorry, that's the sperm is produced in the testicle, and once it's produced, they are stored here, and they once it's ejection, it will go through the vas deferens, going through the inside of this our pelvic cavity, and go through the ejectory tubule. It doesn't show in here, but I will explain. And go beyond this bladder. This is urinary bladder, and then go combine the fluid from the seminal vesicles, and then connect and eject and connect with the urethra, go through the prostate, and so that's the sperm, going ejection. So that's the entire male reproductive system. This will be very different between male and the female. So this development basically is completed uh, in the infant, and so to have sexual differentiated development is really important to have a correct hormone or the gene expression during the fetus development. And maybe in our third topic, we will talk about that, the pregnancy, and in the very next in the next topic in next week we will further talk about how the X chromosome, Y chromosome affects these development. All right, so the if we look into these testes, we will see a lot of this tubule. This tubule is called the semini, seminifer, seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule. This seminiferous tubule is a place where the spermatogenesis take place. So what are they? What's the important portion? So the anatomy, the very basic anatomy, begin by this tubule. So this is a tubule. There are about 5 different type of cells in around this, each of these. If we do the transection here, this is the tubule, seminiferous tubule. And of course, you can see the developed sperm, and they are ready to do the work, right? And in addition, we will look into these cells. What's the major cells? We can quickly go through. So the major cells here is the spermatogonia. So these are the stem cells to produce sperm cells. So they will, throughout the entire, not the entire, but after the puberty, the male will continually produce use this spermatogonia to produce the sperm cells. One thing about it is that in female, once it's produced a gamete, the stem cell lost. They got differentiated, they got lost. But in male, they will continuously replenish the lost spermatogonia. So the male theoretically can have almost like an infinite amount of the offspring, but the amount female can produce, the oocyte size is limited after birth. So that's a sperm. We also have 2 major supporting cells. One is the Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells is the one to support the spermatogenesis, the development of these sperm cells. We also have another cell. This is called the Leydig cell. It's also called interstitial cell, but I like to call it Leydig because interstitial is not very specific. You don't really know what interstitial is about. So it's also called Leydig cells. And these cells is the one to produce the hormone, to produce the testosterone. So that's the cells. We also have some smooth muscle. It doesn't show in here. Smooth muscle cell to conduct the contraction. It's very important to squeeze this sperm. Once it's ejection, it will squeeze it out. So that's that. So that's probably the major cell. All right, so we have this produced here in this tubule, seminiferous tubule. Then it will travel through the reti testis. It's right here. retitestis. Then it will go through the epididymus, right here, epididymus. And then it will go through the, it's called the ductus. Difference here is sometimes also called vas difference. Then, and then this is the vas difference right here, vas difference. So that's the same thing. Then it will go into the pelvic body, pelvic cavity, and the urethra. So that's basically from the microscope level more to more like gross anatomy. All right, so from here, right, from here. So here we have two cells right here. So we have the Sertoli cells, Leydig cell, right, and the sperm will go through the seminiferous tubule, through the retitestis, go into the efferent. Efferent is out, meaning external, like exist. Efference means coming in. So the efferent ductus, and then going through this vas deferens. Inside of this scrotum, this portion is called the epididymus. Epididymus. So the efferent ductus will then go through the epididymus to the vas deferens. So that's basically right here, and going here, going into the pelvic cavity. Then vas deferens going into the pelvic cavity and go beyond the bladder. Then it will mix the fluid from the first gland that we see here. This is the first gland. This is called the seminal vesicles. So these sperms will mix with the fluid provided by the seminal vesicle. So they will collectively call semen. Then goes through the prostate. Here, prostate also provide the important chemicals to support the viability of the sperm because they're gonna travel into another person's organ. And then before it gets through this urethra, the last glands, which is the urethral glands, add additional lubricant fluids to it. And so in the end, we have the sperm, the semen include the sperm, the fluid, 75% of the fluid from the seminal vesicles, then 25% coming from the prostate, and then about a little bit lubricate from the urethral glands, and then that complete this journey. So we talk, then that's basically is the entire route of how sperms travel from the seminiferous tubule right here to the urethra and through the intercourse and go into the female's body. So that's that. Here is the, what else? What did we talk about? Right here, right? We talk about this one here. We talk about this one here, right? And then I just use the other one because here I want to show you that we have two seminal vesicles. So that is basically right here, these two. And so the structure right here is that this is vas deferens, right? Vas deferens coming from here, vas deferens. So that's very clear that we have the vas deferens going to both left and right, go in and get the fluid from the seminal vesicles and connect the fluid enter to it, and then it go through this urethra. This go through this short ducts is called the ejaculatory ducts. So that's that. All right, so that's the entire tubule. In addition to this, here summarize the three associate, 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 so accessory glands involved in the production of these semen. So these are the seminal vesicles. This one provides about 7%, 70% of the semen. This one is alkaline and it contains the fructose to provide the fuel that the sperms need to swim, proteins to help the semen to facilitate clotting after ejaculation. So you don't have a leaking over there, right? You're going to clot it. And also it contains this prostaglandin. This is the if you have some idea, prostaglandin is very common hormone to participate the inflammation immune system. All right, so that's that. And then we will have the prostate secretes another important component, including the citrate and the zinc. So these are very important to maintain the viability of the sperm. Then the bulbar urethral glands to produce the lubricant fluid. So that's that. We also, if you don't, if you might also see like people call the bulbar urethral glands as the copper glands. So that's just another different name. So that's that. What do you need to know? In the quiz, you will need to know that what are the accessory glands in the male reproductive system. All right, so that's something you need to know. And what's the major one? What's the major one to form the semen, the seminal vesicles? And also that through these tracks, you need to through this pathway to these tracks, you need to know the sequence that what following what following what. So the sequence, you need to know that. So that's that. All right, so that is the glands, and we have this ejaculation. Semen, including the sperm and the fluids from the accessory glands. Then this will go through the, when it's ejection, it will, a sympathetic reaction will act on the smooth muscle, cause the ejection, and then it will go through from the testes, go through the epididymis, through the vas deferens, ejectory ducts into the combined with the fluid from the seminal vesicles, and then go through the prostate and go moving the semen into the urethra and eject into the vagina in the female. So that's that. And so this is a little bit, introduction of this, the major player, the sperms. Wow, something all went wrong out there. All right. sometimes it's I can understand, if you talk about like you have delay in your work, in your assignment because of kids. I totally get it. Okay, I have a very similar situation with me right now. So, but you know what? I kind of enjoy. I kind of appreciate that working at home. With kids. Um, yeah, sometimes it's difficult, but all right. So let's continue this one here. So that is the sperm. Let's get some closer look. What do you need to know about this sperm? So first of all, that this is shape and it has three segments. The head including this tip portion is called the acrosome. This acrosome here contain enzymes. So this enzyme, once it's reach the egg, it will release the enzyme to break through the egg. In the head, another portion is the nucleus. So this contains the genetic portion. This is the haploid. So here we have the 23 chromosome, not 23 pairs, but 23 chromosome. Following that, we have the mid piece. This one is a region contains a lot of the mitochondria. This is very typical structure of a cell, as a cell with flagellum. And basically that's because flagellum require movement. It conducts this flagellum movement, and that movement require energy. So the energy coming from the ATP produced by the mitochondria. So that's that. So we talk about how mitochondria produce ATP in our stereo physiology, right? So you have the idea how this organelle work inside of a cell. So that is the sperm, and we also not just sperm, we also have other cells inside of this seminiferous nucleus, seminiferous tubule. That's right, right? I think that's right. How seminiferous tubule. That's right. Inside of this seminiferous tubule. So what are they? Two major cells are the Leydig cells and Sertoli. Sertoli is one right here to support the production of the spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis, that's right, spermatogenesis. That is the development of sperm cell from the spermatogonia, the stem cell. And then we also have the Leydig cell. Leydig cell is where? Where is Leydig cell? Right here, Leydig cell. Leydig cell, the one to produce the testosterone, the sex hormone, male sex hormone. We also have the myeloid. This is the soft, smooth muscle cells right here. Smooth muscle cell contract and squeeze this tubule to propel the movement of the sperm. All right, so let's look into the spermatogenesis. How is sperm get produced? So it coming from the mitosis and meiosis, as we already very typical cell division. So what's that? So first of all, we have the spermatogonia. These are the cell. They can be divided continuously, and once they divided, one cell can produce two identical daughter cells. Well, these two are identical. So if they are identical, they will be identical to their mother cell, right? So the spermatogonia will produce spermatogonia and the spermatogonia. However, this spermatogonia will, one of it remain as the spermatogonia. The other will start to differentiate into a primary spermatocyte. And so this this is deviated from this spermatogonia to the primary spermatocyte. This primary spermatocyte then goes through a meiosis. Meiosis has two stages. Meiosis one will be the secondary spermatogonia, and then meiosis two will be the spermatid. So it's very much like our meiosis. We have the chromosome to produce the chromatid, right? Sister chromatids. Here we have the primary spermatocytes to produce, after this meiosis, to produce 4 haploid spermatid. Then these spermatids will be further differentiated into the matured sperm cell. So that's that. So here I see spermatogenesis is a process of sperm production. First is the mitosis. Mitosis basically reproduce itself. And while it's reproduced, each one will have 2 daughter cells. One will remain as the spermatogonial stem cells, which is the spermatogonia. And then we can probably do this one here. Copy. Okay, let me do that. Paste. And I can do this one here. So that basically it's the same thing. Spermatogonia and spermatogonial stem cell. That is the same thing. All right, so it will produce 2 daughter cells. One will be, can I do that? Let me see. All right. One will be the spermatogonia. The other one will be the primary spermatocyte. And then spermatocytes, primary spermatocyte, go through the meiosis. So from the diploids to produce the haploid spermatid. Then these spermatids will be matured to form the sperm cells. So while they divided, they continuously moving from the basement region, this basement membrane, basement region of this seminiferous tubule toward the lumen region of the spermatotubule. And so that is controlled by what cell? Controlled by the Sertoli cells. So it could be the quiz question, right? Like which cells directly regulate the spermatogenesis? That is the Sertoli cells. They not just affects its maturation. This maturation can also be called as the differentiation. They differentiate different from their original primary spermatocyte or the secondary spermatocyte or the spermatids. They become, the shape will be different, their function will be different. So that's that. And while they are differentiated, they also move in toward the luminal. So that's that. So here, let's take a look at this one. So this is the stem cell. This stem cell continuously replenish itself. So we will never have any reduction of the amount of the spermatogonia. Then we will have the primary spermatocytes, then conduct the meiosis 1, meiosis 2, it produce the 4 daughter cells, spermatids, then mature to become the sperm cells. And so that is that. How is this thing get regulated by our body? So you probably know that there is age, right? So male will start to become able to uh, produce, conduct this intercourse with female is about the age of the puberty. And why is that? Is because that our body's hormone need to reach a certain level, reach that level in order to trigger its function, right? So this is triggered by two major hormones. These two major hormones are uh, follicular stimulating hormone (FSH) and luteinizing hormone (LH). These two hormones are produced in the anterior pituitary gland, is in the lower portion of the brain. And so these two hormones act on two different cells. The follicle stimulating hormone acts on the Sertoli. And so it can directly facilitate the production of the sperm cells. Luteinizing hormone acts on the Leydig cell. So with this one, it will trigger the Leydig cells to produce the testosterone. How is testosterone? Testosterone has several functions, right? It can enhance the male sexual characteristics. It can also, this is also important to sperm because the testosterone can also act on the Sertoli to neutralize, to support the Sertoli, and then Sertoli would be activated to facilitate the production of these sperm cells. So that's that. So this is graph summarized what we have talked about this male reproductive system. The hormone-wise, that hypothalamus reproduce the gonad tropical releasing hormone. Then the tropical GnRH will act on the pituitary. This is the pituitary has the anterior and the posterior. This is the anterior. Then it will release the follicular stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone, FSH and LH. The follicular stimulating hormone, FSH, acts on the Sertoli to support the spermatogenesis, the sperm cell development. LH acts on the Leydig cell. Leydig cell release the testosterone. This one will be released in the blood and support the development of the male characteristics. It will also trigger acts on the Sertoli to support the Sertoli, and then they're indirectly cause the induce the spermatogenesis, the sperm development. So that's that. So we have a lot of quiz question from here already. So that's male, and let's look at the female. So the gonads of the female is the ovary. So we have two testicles. We also have two ovaries in female, and so the ovaries again has two major functions. One is the gamete production. The gamete is oocyte. The other one is the sex hormone, female sex hormone. So that's that. So let's first start by looking at the oocyte production. This will be very different. This will be very, in a way, similar like the sperm production, but in some way they are different. So let's look at what is processed. So the oocyte development is called the oogenesis. So they will start by having these stem cells. These are the oogonia. So we can kind of compare these two right here. So this is the spermatogenesis that we already learned. This is the oogenesis that we are going to learn. So it's very similar. They all have the uh, the stem cells, the spermatogonia, and the oogonia. These stem cells are coming from the primordial germ cells that we will later we will talk about. And so primordial germ cell is one that's their earlier precursor cells. It's not sexually different yet. Only when they reach into, they will travel into the testes or the ovaries, then they start to become the stem cell of oocytes or the sperm. So that's that. All right. So this is oogonia. So it's very much the same. The oogonium will produce will mm, produce differentiates into the primary oocytes. Then primary oocytes will start to conduct the meiosis. So like this one here, primary spermatocytes conduct the meiosis to produce four. This one was supposed to produce four. However, when they divided two and the two, when they divided two, only one remained. The other one degenerate. So in the end of the day, one will produce one. In sperm, one produce four. And this one can actually replenish itself. Here, after birth, it will have the limited amount. They are not going to replenish the stem cell, the oogonium. These primary will remain fixed. Each one will stay in a palace, like palace of the palace. Each one will be very carefully treated. Each one will be wrapped around the follicular cells. And it's not like sperm, they just live in the basement, as you literally seeing here. They are living in the basement. So it's very different. The oocytes, these primary oocytes, they live in the palace. They live in the ovary. And not just that, they are wrapped around by the follicles. Let me show you a picture right here. So they are wrapped around of each one, each individual. It's a suite in the palace. So each one is wrapped around the follicular cells. So it's all very different. So that's that. So we have some idea. Now let's go through it in detail. So this is the oogonia, and all this happens in the fetus. So while our body develops all these organs, ovaries get developed, we can tell uh, the penis at about 8 weeks of the gestational age. Uh, so so by then the we already have these gonads differentiate depending on the XX or XY genes, chromosomes. And so these oogonium will, before birth, so all this happens in the fetus, they will produce millions of the primary oocytes. And then these primary oocytes will start to conduct the meiosis. However, one thing you need to know is that they will not. Each of these primary oocytes uh, will start to living in the follicle. So it will be wrapped, and each one of it will stay at rest in a way that they will not change until puberty. So after birth, everything will like nothing gonna happen until puberty. Until puberty, then each one will start to uh, uh, continue its meiosis. So each month after puberty, each primary oocyte will produce the two daughter cells. One will be degenerated, as we call it the first polar body, and the other one will take all over the entire organelles, nutrients into it. And this is called the secondary oocytes. Then these secondary oocytes will continue to uh, grow, and then each month we'll have a group of cells go through this process. When they are mature enough, they will be uh, ovulated, go through this ovulation. Right here, ovulation. We will go through the ovulation, and then they will be waiting for the fertilization. If the sperms come, they will finish. They will. So this is the first meiosis. They will not complete it until sperms enter. Once sperm enter, they complete this second meiosis. And the second meiosis will have another polar body and the remaining oocytes. Then these remaining oocytes mate with the sperm. It will become a fertilized egg. And this fertilized egg will be the one to develop an entire organism, the body, the human, another human. If this one doesn't happen, then this will be uh, menstruals. Menstruals will happen, and so the cycle will go over again. So that's that. All right, so let's go through this process again. So oogenesis is process of the oocyte development. The body produce the orgonia stem cell during the early development in the fetus, and these will produce the primary oocyte. So here is some number that if you look at number, it's huge. Nobody will have need those number of the oogonia. So if we can reach to 7 million by fifth month oogonia, and each one will produce the primary oocyte. So by 20 weeks, we will reach the maximum number of the primary oocytes. So that is the figure like this one here. So this is the amount of the primary oocytes. So this is in the uterus. It starts by about 5 weeks. So that is about the time that the ovaries already developed. This organ is there, and so this uh, primordial germ cells travel into the ovaries and settle down there. They will be differentiated into the oogonia, and this oogonia will start to conduct the mitotic division, cell division, produce more and more of these stem cells, and also these stem cells will be differentiated into the. So this is gradual change. In the beginning, we have this oogonia, they get divided, and this oogonia, in addition to the division, their daughter cell will be differentiated into the primary oocyte. Each primary oocyte, as I mentioned, will start living in the suite. They will be supported by other like mates to keep it happy, happy living in that little room. This is called the follicle. The amount will gradually increase because of the differentiation from this orgonium, and you can see that it reached the maxima at about 20 weeks gestational age. And then some of those will not will not survive. It will be degenerate. We don't need that much. So the body will only keep those survival one, those who can survive in the environment in a way. And then the number will reduce even though like after the birth, we have about each female has about 1 million, 1.2 million, 1 to 2 million uh, primary oocytes. And this number gradually decrease by the puberty. And then we have 300,000. So even though that decrease a lot, even though they don't get replenished like sperms, this number is a lot. No female need this amount number to have the offspring. Offspring, that's right. So that's that. So here is a comparison of spermatogenesis and the oogenesis. It has the first phase is the multiplication. So the amount will here is in the in male, this one will continue throughout after birth throughout the not entire age, but probably reach to about 50 years old. And it could be on that. As for female, it's pretty sure that we have the maxima. This one will stop at about the first couple months of the gestational age, and then it will stop. After that, it will be reach to the growth phase. This growth phase is in the sperm. This growth phase is basically go through the basement into the luminal, supported by the Leydig cell, a Sertoli cell. In the oocytes, this growth is basically not growth until puberty. So that basically is they will stay in the follicle, and then they will stay in the right here. So they will stay in the follicle, but doesn't change until puberty. Then they start to grow again. So that's that. And then uh, when they when they grow, they further conduct this meiosis. One will produce four daughter cells, and this one will further differentiate into the functional gametes. It could be the sperm, it could be the ovum. This one give you some comparison of the spermatogenesis and the oogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the production of sperm from the spermatogonia. Oogenesis is the process of the oocytes from the oogonia. This one occurs in the testis. This one occurs in the ovary. Spermatogenesis occurs inside of the testis. Oogenesis could be in the ovary as well as in the ovary tubule or fallopian tubule, which is right here, this tubule. So this growth here, fallopian tubule. What else? This one continue process occur after the puberty until the death. This one, the early stage, is in the fetal period, and then oocytes will remain arrested until puberty. And then it will stop at the menopause. So I say it's about up to 50 years old, but here, it could be up to until death. But you need to know that testosterone level gradually decrease. So testosterone level gradually decrease in male. So it could be that the testosterone needed to support the Sertoli cell to support the spermatogenesis. So even though it may continue until death, but the productivity will be affected by the lower testosterone level in the male when they are reaching the like older, like senior age. What else? So that's that. So here showing you the concept called the meiotic arrest. Let me just pause it for now. I will continue this lecture